Learning about a different culture is usually a fun and rewarding experience, and every culture has their own set of urban legends to scare friends and frighten children. So today, I'm going to count down the creepiest Mexican urban legends. This list will mainly feature legends from Mexico, as well as some from more Latin America. With that being said, this is the top 20 creepiest Mexican urban legends. The Alley of the Hands. Back in 1780, there lived a priest in the new city of San Luis Potosi. He decided to live in the city for its good reputation and nice hospitality of the people. One day, he went on a trip to an unknown destination. When he returned, he took a walk down an alley by his house, where he was brutally murdered. The authorities suspected 2 teenage boys who knew the priest, despite little evidence. The boys were hung by the neck until they were dead, and then their hands were cut off. The hands are said to be in the same alleyway, hanging on a wall. Sometimes on November nights, walking down the alley will cause the skeletal hands to float above you. Some even claim to catch the ghost of the priest before disappearing. The Santa Paula Cemetery. The Santa Paula Cemetery, or in Spanish known as Panteón de Belén, is a historical cemetery located in Guadalajara, Mexico. The cemetery is surrounded by many legends. It opened in 1948, and it was formally closed in 1986. Legends of vampires, pirates, lovers, the monk, the child afraid of the dark, the story of Jose Cuervo, the nun, and many more have surfaced and are a part of the local folklore. The cemetery attracts a lot of attention, especially during the Mexican holiday, the Day of the Dead. The Monterey House. In 1933, this house was home to the richest of families, but has now become a neglected, haunted building. The souls of 2 women who were brutally murdered and can never find peace inhabit the house. The story goes that a man, his wife, and their daughter used to live there. While the man was at work, 3 intruders broke into his home and tortured the wife and daughter, demanding them all of their money. When their bodies were found, it was said to be one of the most horrific, cruelest crimes ever committed. Since then, the house has been plagued by supernatural events, such as 2 womanly figures being seen in the shadows, or the terrible cries of the mother and the daughter being heard. La Lechuza. La Lechuza is an old woman who turns into a monstrous owl during the night. Some say that La Lechuza will steal children for her occult rituals, and that she sold her soul to the devil to obtain these powers. Others report saying that La Lechuza will help troubled families in need. She is either a human-sized bird or that of a human's head on a bird's body. She will wait outside your door at night, making the noise of a crying baby. If you open the door, she'll swoop you up and take you away. Finding scratch marks on your doors or personal belongings are signs that La Lechuza may be coming to visit your house tonight. El Cadejo. Known in some variations throughout South America, El Cadejo is the manifestation of a big, ferocious black dog with fire-like eyes. According to the legend, El Cadejo would appear to his victim at exactly midnight. If you're a good and religious person, a white, shining dog, the counterpart to El Cadejo, would appear to protect you. On the contrary, if you're a bad person, El Cadejo will rip you to shreds, devour your insides, and leave you unrecognizable. The Hitchhiker. In the Mexican version of the vanishing hitchhiker urban legend, the hitchhiker is a beautiful woman who hits it off with a stranger in a taxi or whoever picks her up from the streets. When she leaves, she gives that person her address. When this person tries to reach the woman at her home, he is informed that the woman died, and that this is the anniversary of her death. The Man Who Whistles. In Venezuela, El Silbón, or the Whistler, is an urban folklore about a terrifying man who killed his father in cold blood and even devoured his organs. El Silbón is now doomed to wander the earth as a lost soul, carrying a bag around filled with his father's bones. The Whistler gets his name from this whistling sound that he always emits, and when the whistling sounds far away, that means he's actually really close by, and some people don't even notice until it's too late. The Bad Hour. Known in Spanish as La Mala Hora, this legend is about an evil spirit or demon that wanders the night and terrorizes those who travel alone. She usually stalks her prey before hypnotizing and paralyzing them. She'll rush at her victims and suffocate them. Those who catch a small glimpse of her eyes in the shadows are said to go insane. She is said to appear as a woman in all black, with long hair and floating above the ground. The House of Tubes. In Monterrey, Mexico, there is a very famous legend about a strange house known as the House of Tubes. This building is completely abandoned with cylindrical hallways. According to the legend, the couple who built the house was very wealthy, but had a paralyzed daughter. The father designed the house with ramps for her daughter's wheelchair to make her feel more welcomed and not disabled at all. She was excited to live in her new home and asked her father to take a tour around the house, to which he agreed. He took her inside and showed her the new ramps. When she was going up the ramp, she lost control of her wheelchair and fell back to her death. Her grieving parents could not live in the house after what had happened, so they abandoned the construction, and the house has stayed that way since. Reports of murder and suspicious accidents have taken place in the house. Authorities fenced off the area and made it no longer available to the public. The Mexican Ghost Bus. Between the cities of Toluca and the town of Ixtapan de la Sal, there exists a legend of a bus accident that killed everyone aboard. The bus route involved going up and down the slope of a mountain. But when the bus reached its high point, it began to rain. The bus driver took notice and slowly went down the mountain. But the bus began to accelerate faster and faster until the brakes gave out. In the blink of an eye, the bus swerved off the road and crashed before catching on fire, killing everyone aboard. Since then, people have reported seeing an old bus traveling down the same road. If one on the road were to hold out their hand, the bus driver will stop and pick you up, and there will always be one empty seat. As soon as you sit down, you'll feel a heavy silence. The bus driver will instruct you to get off before finishing its trip. He'll say, "Go now and don't look back, or you will never leave this bus." Those who do just that will be safe. But those who do look back will see the bus as a charred wreck, with skeletons inside. The bus will disappear, and you will die in a car accident a few days later, joining the cast of skeletons among the ghost bus. La Ciguapa. La Ciguapa is a mythical creature in Dominican legend. They are described as strange but beautiful women living in the high mountains who possess incredible magical powers. These beautiful women will have sex with wandering men before killing them. Some say that La Ciguapa's beauty will diminish, and she'll look horrendous before the actual killing. Her feet are also said to be facing backwards, making it difficult to determine which way they're moving by looking at their footprints. Legend says not to look them straight in the eye, or else you'll be consumed by their power, and fall to their prey. The Benito Juarez Park. The legend goes that this park was built near the remains of an old, broken down cemetery, and that every night someone would come along and vandalize it. The city decided to have security guards watch over the park to catch whoever kept vandalizing the property. The guards reported seeing shadowy figures of an old woman in a long dress. The woman attacked the guards, and despite managing to escape, they all ended up dying. One security guard after the other, the same thing happened. Some died right away, while others suffered a painfully long illness. They call the ghost the Phantom of the Park. The Witch. One night, there was a married couple who slept with their baby beside them. The couple was very poor and could not afford a mattress, so they all slept together on a carpet with the grandparents next door. When suddenly, the baby let out a blood-curdling scream. He shrieked so loud that the next-door grandparents could hear it. The mother got up and comforted her child back to bed, but every time she went back to sleep, the baby would start crying again. This went on and on until the mother got so tired that she began to ignore the baby's cries. But then, the crying stopped, followed by the loud sound of the door being slammed shut. The mother turned over and found that her child was dead. He had scratch marks all over his stomach. That's when the husband yelled in Spanish, the witch killed him, she killed my son." Then, the mother swore she heard giggling. After word of the incident spread, many mothers held on to their children during nights, sometimes praying for a safe rest. La Bruja was rumored to be one of the residents of the town, but many people moved out to protect themselves, so no one is quite sure where she could be. El Cucuy. The Latino version of the boogeyman, El Cucuy has terrified children for generations. El Cucuy is a shape-shifting creature that hides in closets, under beds, or even lurks in the streets. However, according to the legend, he was once a father who used to lock his misbehaving children in the closet. One night, when the father left to go to town, an oil lamp fell, and the house burned to the ground, with the children still locked inside. When the father returned, he searched frantically for his children and was swallowed up by the area. According to the legend, if children disobey their parents, El Cucuy would get them and eat them. El Chupacabra. El Chupacabra, or goat sucker, is often described as a semi-large creature with spikes on the back of its body, though its physical appearance vary. The first reported sighting took place as early as 1995 in Puerto Rico, when 8 sheep were discovered dead, each drained of their blood. In fact, around the 1990s, a large amount of unusual animal deaths occurred in Puerto Rico. One family even claimed to witness El Chupacabra in their backyard, when it came out of nowhere and bit their dog. There's been multiple claimed sightings and even captures of El Chupacabra, though they have been dismissed as wolf/coyote hybrids or raccoons suffering from sarcoptic mange. Despite this, many believe that El Chupacabra is out there to this day. The Iron Lady. The legend says she was a disgruntled nurse who was attracted to a doctor, but he didn't like her, so the nurse began to kill her patients off. Many variations of how she was created exist, but one consistent part of the story is that her ghost appears in many hospitals, such as Hospital Juarez. Just as there are claims about how she was turned into a ghost, there are many others in which eyewitnesses claim she appears. Some say she emits a strange sort of glow, others say she looks normal, but she floats, and her footsteps are never heard. Sometimes, some patients just feel better out of nowhere. When asked why they feel better the next morning, patients say, "A nurse came in and healed me," but no one in the hospital was either guarding the room or no nurse came at the time the incident happened. The White Death. The White Death is a spirit of a young girl who hated life so much that she wanted to kill herself. Not only that, but she wanted to remove all traces of her existence from this world. Her desire to completely erase herself was so great that her vengeful spirit came back to kill anyone who knew of her existence. One night, a man came stumbling to a southern Mexican hospital. He was screaming in horror and yelling in Spanish. When asked what happened, he claimed that his sister was killed by the White Death and that she was coming for him next. She is a girl, but not a girl, he said. She's not dead, but not really alive. She has cold, black eyes that weep blood. She walks without ever seeming to move an inch. She stalks her victims like a wild animal, pursuing them across rivers and valleys, trailing them back to their homes. You are never fully aware that she is following you until you hear her knock upon your door. She knocks once for your skin, which she will use to patch her own decaying flesh. Twice for your hair, which she'll keep between her teeth. 3 times for your bones, which she'll fashion into clubs. 4 times for your heart, which she'll rip out of your chest. 5 times for your teeth, which she'll polish and keep in a box. 6 times for your eyes, which she'll pluck out one by one. And 7 times for your soul, which she'll swallow whole. All because you know of her existence. The Mannequin. In Chihuahua, Mexico, there is a store that features a strangely realistic bridal mannequin. According to legend, the mannequin has lived there for 75 years. This is because the mannequin is said to be the preserved corpse of the previous store owner's daughter. The mannequin was first added to the store on March 25, 1930. People took an immediate dislike towards the mannequin, especially those who knew about the death of the store owner's daughter and how much she resembles the mannequin. Some say that she moves slightly at night, while others believe that the mannequin's eyes follow them as they walk by without noticing her. The Island of the Dolls. This small area is home to hundreds of creepy dolls, some with missing limbs or missing heads. The legend is that some girl was found dead under mysterious circumstances, and her soul lives on within these dolls. Witnesses claim that the dolls can move their arms and heads, and even open their eyes and blink. Others say that they can whisper to each other and lure nearby passengers to the island. The Weeping Woman. Possibly the most famous Latin America legend of all time, the story of the Weeping Woman, or La Llorona, has been told to children for hundreds of years. Her name was Maria, and she wanted to marry the most handsome man in town. The story varies, but one element is that she drowns her children in order to be with the man she loves. When he rejects her, she drowns herself in a river in Mexico City. Maria arrives at heaven, but she finds out that she's not allowed to enter unless she finds her children. Now she is doomed to wander the earth, weeping constantly, and vainly searching for her children for all of eternity. According to the legend, she kidnaps wandering children, never to be seen again.